Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to the OMLN4 Grand Finals weekend. This is yet another one of our many show matches. This time around, it is PeachMarrow versus HelloSun, two competitors that had just won MWC, and we've got warm-ups here. This should be a pretty good match. I think Peach and HelloSun are quite close in terms of skill level, and what I really think it'll boil down into is, will Peach not miss? Because I think at a base level, Peach has slightly better accuracy, has more of a tendency to not hit as many greats, as well as usually a really good MA. But HelloSun is known for being really consistent, especially on LNs and just in general. So, that being said, as we get through this funny little warm-up, watch out for that. PeachMarrow, I think, was seed 5 before dropping out of the tournament, and then, of course, HelloSun didn't enter the tournament this time around for this iteration, and so this should be a pretty cool thing that we don't usually get to see. We don't usually see these US players fighting against each other. You know, Neb, Peach, HelloSun, Carrot Snow, all those top players. So it should be quite a treat. As the warm-up goes on, we see a little bit of a lead for HelloSun, mostly off of the back of PeachMarrow's misses. Again, PeachMarrow usually gonna find more misses than HelloSun, but will usually have the better accuracy. And of course, this is all just Rice anyways, so I mean, it's not really reminiscent of the skill sets that we're going to be seeing in this Grand Finals pool, obviously. Map about to close out. We saw that PeachMarrow almost caught up in terms of accuracy, just a little bit behind. Funny little right hand trill. HelloSun actually breaking at the end, and PeachMarrow clears this warm up in exciting fashion. All the way at the end, HelloSun I think missed 4 times with that little trill, and for that, Peach pulls it out. And so that was Peach's warm-up. I think that was a collab between Peach and Rinstey. Now we're gonna see what HelloSun's warm-up is before. Protects bans and the picks. And looks like it's going to be a Gwill map I see at 1.1. So I definitely not going to be seeing any noodles, I don't think, in either of these warm-ups as, well, the guts come out. I just hope it's not another Jack map. No, it seems pretty mixed in nature. HelloSun taking an early miss. And thankfully, unlike the unlike the last one, which stretched all the way up to the warm-up limit that tournaments usually put in place, this one seems a little bit faster. Both players struggling quite a little bit. Hosa not able to really deal with the burst. And same could be said for PeachMarrow. I think it is kind of close right now, swapping back and forth as we get through that little Ki. And PeachMarrow just unable to keep up like Hello Sun is. And 25,000 points over to Hello Sun. Maps trying to close out. Seems like based on the amount left and the score on both these players, there's still a lot in this last 6 of a map, and a lot of weirder bursts, long jacks, weird speed jacks, everything thrown at you, as both players can't really get a semblance of any combo whatsoever. And as the map finishes off, we see Hello Sun with about a % lead, and both players struggling a lot. Thankfully for them, the warm-up is done. Hello Sun's gonna win it by about 13,000 points, so 1-1 in terms of tiebreaker, or in terms of the warm-ups, but obviously with them playing rice maps, I don't know what they were thinking. This is a show match, they can do whatever they want. I just think it's really funny putting on a couple of rice maps for the LN tournament warm-up. So now that that's done, we can actually finally get into some noodles with the protects and the bans. PeachMarrow rolling 66, Hello Sun about a third of a chance that they can beat that in order to have the luxury of picking either the first protect or the first ban. Let's see what they get. Okay, I don't I don't think that's allowed, guys. We're gonna have to check the rule book, but I don't think you're supposed to roll for that much. So Hello Sun trying to cheat the system. I think we're gonna have to impose an infraction on him for that, but PeachMarrow is totally up for that. Unfortunately, the referee isn't, so I think Hello Sun is going to have to re-roll. So Hello Sun gives out their real roll. Unfortunately, it is less than PeachMarrow, so PeachMarrow gets to pick to protect her ban first. As Hello Sun makes up excuses as to why their first one should have been legal. PeachMarrow is going to go for first ban, so we're going to see protects come out first, and Hello Sun is going to be the one to do that. And I think they're rolling for the protects, and as such, with the 10th map being the one rolled, wildcard 3 is going to be the protect. Let's see if PeachMarrow goes for the same strategy. Yes, okay, alright, looks like wildcard 4 is going to be protected, and so wildcard seems to be the favored, the destined maps for this match. PeachMarrow gonna get the next order of business done, which is the ban. And no, they're actually not going to go with rolling for the bans. They actually have maps that they don't enjoy, and so 2 densities go out, 2 wildcards protected. PeachMarrow up first to pick. Of course, we're going back to the rolls, and it seems like the 7th map is the one rolled, so that is going to be Tech 4 if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no? I think Bancho's being a little silly and a bit slow in response to the rolls, which is of course an important part of PeachMarrow and Hello Sun's game plan, because if they end up rolling for something that has already been banned, they had to re-roll, or further on in the match, they're going to be rolling things that have already been picked as well. So this 2-minute timer seems to actually be the real opponent of the match, as Density 3 is picked. An interesting role by PeachMarrow, especially considering that Density 4 and 5 were both banned by both the players. And so we're going to see what is essentially one of the mid-range density maps. It's not as fast as Density 2, and it's certainly not as slow as Density 5. So this one kind of gives a good balance of speed as well as technique. Map is starting off, both players trying to get up to the combo cap, and a little bit of the density is starting to pop up. And you'll see here in this map that a lot of it is actually a lot of double switches, a lot of, I guess at this speed, it's almost inverse jack. So watch out, especially that jump throw at the end there. There's a lot of jackiness to this density, and it seems like PeachMarrow was doing just fine until he took a little bit of a burst. HelloSun at a 99.8. Very, very good, as PeachMarrow falters yet again. So quite the lead for HelloSun as we pass through a fourth of this map. Small bit of a break. PeachMarrow easily able to get back up to the combo cap, but I think the lead is a little bit too much right now in order to get it back through virtue of accuracy. I think what needs to happen is HelloSun is probably going to need to misread one of these patterns. However, I don't know if that's going to happen. HelloSun, of course, very consistent player, is what I would say if they didn't break. So lead back to PeachMarrow, and that was off of a relatively clean break from HelloSun. Yes, they are going, nope, they are not going to get back up to the combo cap. Immediately reset as they were just inching over 400. PeachMarrow gonna have a pretty good time with that. HelloSun missing yet again at one of the slower sections. I think misread on one of the jackier sections. PeachMarrow kind of running away with it now. We're all about 3/4 of the way there, and the lead has popped from 6,000 over to HelloSun's side all the way over to 6,000 on PeachMarrow's side. And as long as PeachMarrow can combo through this, all will be well for them. Remember, this isn't their pick, so this is kind of important to pick up as the first point. Huge density section, and honestly a really big shift because there are some longer anchors that you had to hold through, but it seems like both players get through it just fine. The map is ending. There's only one more section left. HelloSun misses and PeachMarrow does not, leading to 1-0. PeachMarrow securing their first pick, their first point, and it got a little bit scary there. Yeah, you see PeachMarrow, I think on maps where they're a little bit more comfortable, they're gonna have a better MA. They're definitely gonna have a better grade count compared to HelloSun. So if the pick strategy is the same for both these players, HelloSun better hope that they land on some of the more evil tech maps. Fortunately, that will not be the case, as Coordination 2 is the role for HelloSun. Meikai no Shinsha by Chris Arlene. And if I remember correctly from the showcase, this one was a little bit evil. Funnily enough, I think when showcase for the grand finals was coming around, they talked a little bit about the star rating and how this one and Coordination One were the only two maps under 7 stars, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, star rating not meaning anything, but I just found it funny that every map is just above 7 stars, which is crazy to think about. Map started off, and after a bit of an intro, PeachMarrow with the littlest of leads. It definitely feels a lot harder to act compared to the density. Obviously, with the coordination, you're going to have a lot of release tricks. You're going to have a lot of um, weirder anchors, weirder snappings, everything with that compared to the usual, 1/4 or 1/6, whatever snapped density. This one, you just have a lot of things going on at all times, at all columns. And so, with that comes a lot more chances for you to drop accuracy, as you can see here. They're not at the 99.8s that they are at on density maps where they can be totally comfortable. Over here, you are kind of expected to have a worse MA, to have a lot more 200s. No drops yet so far. The only drops we have been seeing is accuracy. As the map passes through, we see that Hosan has taken a lot more 200s than PeachMarrow, but really both of them scraping by with around a 990 average score that they're shooting for. A lot of longer anchors coming on in this section, and it seems like Hellosun is just hitting really late and then will hit early after to try to uh, recompensate. That's kind of leading to them dropping in accuracy by quite a bit, and even a miss first one of the map about 2/3 of the way through. That's going to give PeachMarrow a very good lead. 7,000 is a lot as Hello Sun misses again. 7,000 is honestly a lot, especially when you consider how many notes there are. Misses usually tend to mean less of an advantage, and when you're passing through 6,000 notes, misses are probably to the degree of like 1,500 points. And so with that, PeachMarrow is going to have a good time going into the back half of this map, which is a good time to introduce my co-commentator that is joining us to this now, Nightcore. How are we doing, Nightcore?
I'm doing all good. It's a pretty good night, and looking at this matchup as well, I do believe it's coordination too, and this issue, and as well as you were saying that misses do take a significant toll, and I do believe Hello Sun's going to be taking two near the back half of the map, which at this point I think is going to be pretty hard for them to recover. But even with that miss from PeachMarrow still being traded back by that detrimental drop near the end of for Hello Sun, I'd be a bit fatigued, but I do know that the ending does spike up a bit, especially on a timing hill pick like this.
Yeah, Hello just not having the greatest of times. You see here 21 misses, a lot of slider breaks in those OKs, and of course, triple the grades of PeachMarrow while being beat up by MA. This was, all being said, this was a runaway map for PeachMarrow. I think that there was no shot Hello was winning that, especially with how good they played throughout. And so PeachMarrow gonna have that first break point. Nightcore, I don't know if you've been noticing, but they've been rolling for all of their maps, and they also rolled for their protects. So, um, it's there is no game plan really. They're just rolling.
Hell yeah. I love a good we ball I love a good we ball moment. PG friendly, but it's gonna be very interesting to see how the roles do turn out, especially how brutal a lot of these picks are. Even looking at some of them, I do believe a lot of the feared ones have it banned, I think, but we still have a lot of those tough picks as well. So the question is, what will be rolled next?
That is true, and to be fair, they actually banned maps they didn't like, which was Density 3 and Density 4 respectively. So I'd imagine if either one of them rolls a Density, both players aren't going to be happy about it. But what I think is best for PeachMarrow is probably to roll into the coordination picks that are left, coordination 1 and 3, and some of the more finesse oriented wild cards. Whereas Hellosun will probably want to roll into the tech because what I was talking about earlier in the broadcast was PeachMarrow usually has better accuracy, but is more prone to missing, especially at a grand finals level compared to Hellosun. Hellosun's really good at combo, and while he may not have the best MA when you compare it to Peach or the 200 count, what you can count on them to do is get a lot of combo throughout the map, minimize their misses in order to make up for it. And with the tech maps, I think Hosen can probably find a couple points.
Absolutely. I think it might be their time to shine, in especially Lemming Ming as well on 1.15. I think this is the oh, are they playing with that low scroll speed?
Oh my god.
Oh, I think they might be. Oh,
And
um,
yes, they are in cahoots with each other. They swap to a very low scroll speed. I gotta take a guess at what. Actually, Nightcore, you go first. What scroll speed is this?
this has to be one. This has to be one. There's like such a big margin between 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like the margin gets respectively less noticeable when you get higher, but when it's at the lower scrolls, it is super noticeable.
I'm gonna go ahead and Price is Right. Uh, say that it's 2, just to be different from your guess of 1. So we'll ask the players after this, but it seems like Hosun is way better at low scroll speed than PeachMarrow. To be fair, I think it's just amazing that both of them are, you know, PeachMarrow is even getting a B rank at a scroll speed 1 grand finals level map, right?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. Like you've seen this like when you're playing at regular scroll speed, it probably just like the biggest slumpage ever. But while you can pretty much look about this map, you can't even see the LN. Well, you can barely see the LNs at this point. Like, imagine just playing this with flashlight as well.
Yeah, no, I that would be insane. But I mean, it's not even like they just seem used to playing low scroll speed for some reason, right? Because you you take an average player on a map that they can probably like 99 or whatever. You put them on 1 scroll speed, they can't replicate this kind of performance, right? I couldn't do this on 4-star maps, but here they are doing it on uh, Lemming Ming 1.15, which is just totally insane. So that being said, Sun is kind of running away with it.
Yeah, I think just looking at it right now with that 130,000 score difference, heading into the back half of the map into the final draw. Uh, yeah, Hello Sun definitely has that lead. I feel like I kind of get that vibes that Hello Sun would definitely be very strong at low scroll speed for some reason.
I could totally imagine him just being bored and putting on low scroll speed sometimes, right?
I mean,
Where it's just like,
that's a show match shenanigans, I guess. So, Hello Sun's gonna be taking the point. I'm actually kind of impressed with that 71 miss as well, especially just on a pick, just with that
okay,
amount
I'm
of scroll speed.
receiving word from PeachMarrow that that was scroll speed 3 from both of them. So I did beat you out on the prediction. They weren't playing at 1, but I mean, come on now. 3 is still insane, right?
Yeah, free is free is insane. Even if I had to change my scroll speed by 1, it just completely messes up my accuracy. To play on something like that is just something else, I guess. But now, Hello Sun does have their first point and breakpoint as well, but of course, I don't think breakpoints will matter that much, especially that, the picks are being rolled. So what shenanigans will they get up to next time? I don't know if
I
Vision
think,
Mods are like.
yeah, I think what would be really funny is there's a 2-minute timer between picks. You have to roll enough. Like, if this match goes the distance, you have to like, and there are like two maps left on the final non-tiebreaker pick. You kind of have to be lucky and roll, where the time constraint of the 2 minutes and the wait between the rolls. You have to actually roll for the last map. I think it'd be really funny to see a timeout used because you simply haven't rolled a map that hasn't been picked or banned yet.
Looks like Hello Sun did roll 11, so as you were saying a bit earlier, might be going into his favorite one of Density picks. So Density 2 looks like.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if, because I think there has been a little bit of lag between Bancho and stuff like that, but yeah, an 11 pick would be. Let's see here. Well, are they going like? Yeah, they're going for the whole map pool because they're still staying at 15. So wildcard 4. Yeah, wildcard 4 would be map 11. Speedrun seems to be the choice. And oh, is this? I see the what's it called, the Star Rail background, but I don't think there's a Star Rail song.
Well, it's up to nature to find out. We need someone who does play HSR to clarify that for us. But yeah, maybe I was incorrect because maybe they are probably taking picks into account as well. That affects their roles. So yeah, I guess wildcard 4. And are they sight reading this? I just see map download.
I'm pretty sure they're sight reading most of it. Obviously with something
Oh
like
my!
Ming Ming and stuff like, and they're so now it's fast scroll speed versus slow scroll speed. But I don't know. I think PeachMarrow seems comfortable enough on this to where this is probably going to be a PeachMarrow win. Obviously, if no shenanigans happen, because they're coordinating together. I don't know if they're gonna pull off one of the like what was it, Parpong or Konkawa that just like had fun at the end and gave a bone to their opponent. So yes, PeachMarrow is obviously playing at a scroll speed that is very comfortable for them, while whereas Hello Sun isn't. But that doesn't necessarily mean that PeachMarrow is gonna win, just because obviously SHOWMATCH shenanigans.
This honestly reminds me of a DDR chart because, like, since it's all scaled by DPM, like you can have someone just running absolutely insane scroll speeds, and then you can just have like a 160 BPM chart, which is just that.
Yeah, it's like PeachMarrow's playing the normal sections where the Hello Sun's playing the little breakdown where you kind of get into the the slow jam,
Oh.
and obviously Hello Sun had a little bit of trouble. PeachMarrow actually missing quite a bit too, but not to the extent that Hello Sun is.
Yeah, they definitely have that accuracy and that combo advantage at the end of the day. Like, it is pretty simple when you are playing on the higher scroll speed. Again, a bit tougher when you're, playing that low. Especially is very hard to kind of read patterns like this, especially in a density setting. But like, you also have some of those scatters and some LM bursts as well intact with them. And this is only halfway in the map as well. You just have to have that reading endurance as well, which could take fatigue on both players. But oh my god, just look at this stair section and just look at it from both screens.
It's so like dizzying going from PeachMarrow where you can actually kind of, and no, hold on, PeachMarrow, hold on, chill out. Seeing PeachMarrow where it's like a regular scroll speed, and then you go and look at Hello Sun, it's just like you're watching uh, just notes slowly crumble down at you, and you can't really distinguish the LNs between the rice notes.
It pretty much looks like a Toho pattern. That's what I
Yeah,
describe it
yeah,
as.
it just looks like a it just looks like a Toho pattern.
So yeah, this is still being traded back and forth, but at this point, if Hello Sun does want to get the point, I think PeachMarrow will have to, well, I think PeachMarrow could just choose to stop playing if they want to. Like, if they just, like, at the end, if they just AFK for, like, the last. Like, both of them are no-fails, so maybe something could happen at the end that they might have set up.
Yeah, I think they might be trying to set something up. I don't know. You never know what's going on in these two's brains. And for the front of the map left, it's about a 140,000 point difference. So yes, I do still think that if PeachMarrow drops their hands off of the keyboard, they can Hello Sun can still win.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say. But even then, just like this map is pretty long, I think. Drain time of nearly 4 minutes, if I do remember correctly. We'll have to see at the end. But as we do get into the last section now, because this is still, honestly, for scroll speeds like this, not the worst thing in the world. Like, both of them are still kind of getting up to the max combo count. Well, PeachMarrow is definitely. Hello Sun maybe struggling to get up to the 400 combo count, which definitely does hinder the score a good bit, but I think even with that accuracy difference alone.
Yeah, I think they've only
Even
managed to get to the combo cap like a couple of times throughout this map, usually falling around like 200 combo. But I mean, map's gonna close out, and the time has run out long past in which Hello Sun could have taken that point. So PeachMarrow, not the best performance from them with a 98. I don't know if they were trying or if they weren't, but what does matter is that they are going to go up 3-1.
You know what? Honestly, I think the fact that like they can perform on that scroll speed probably better than the average 4-key player is just impressive in its own mind. Oh, and it looks like they thought. Wait, was that PeachMarrow's actual scroll speed? I think they were.
I think so. It looked a little fast, but I could be wrong. PeachMarrow might just be playing on a fast scroll speed.
That kind of had me on my mind. I was thinking that was that PeachMarrow's actual scroll speed? Because it definitely is possible. Because a lot of people do play in very high scroll speeds, but now with the 13 being rolled by PeachMarrow, I do believe that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Density 2, I think. Now we're in Density 2. Or Density 1, maybe correct. Oh no, Density 2. Here we are.
Okay, so this is the fastest density map out of the 5. So I think we're gonna see a little bit of physicality into this. However, knowing how both of these players are, I don't really know what the gimmick for this one is going to be, because it seems like every time we load into the map, something new happens for both these players.
Exactly. Like, you never know what they could probably perform for Tiebreaker if they choose to play it. But, we still have a couple of other things, some visual mods maybe. Can't wait to just see them both playing Faded. Just seeing I got this in the bag, like, you can already imagine that something's gonna go down.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
fishy.
There's some chicanery going on. There's some mischievousness.
Exactly. Okay, here we are. Okay, no mods. Are they playing on different? And they are.
Ah, here we go. Here we go.
This is probably scroll speed 4. But 265 BPM density, will they be able to hold on to that S rank? Of course, just being the start of the map where, okay, now here we go. Now the continuous onslaught starts. And as typical fashion, Hello Sun definitely be more comfortable when it does come to the lower scroll speed. Do believe it's free again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, um, 3 scroll speed match definitely favors Hello Sun by quite a lot. As on that first map where they both played 3 scroll speed, PeachMarrow was hanging at around this mark, like 87 to 89. They are doing a little bit better now, so it seems like they're getting a little bit more comfortable with how slow these notes go. However, Hello Sun is definitely killing it right now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, as well, this is well, this map isn't too long. I would say it's average length, especially in grand final schemes. So we might see a couple of higher scores compared to speedrun, I do believe. But we'll have to see. Like again, even if you're just watching this with no audio, like this map pretty much seems the same outside of breaks, but you can see now that the density is starting to rile up more and more, and just Hellstone taking it up, still holding on to that 95, actually dropping a small bit below. Now the question is, will Hellstone be able to get the S rank? Okay, we do get that small break though.
Yeah, this small break's gonna help just a little bit, and I think they can probably swing it if they don't have a big collapse. But it seems like they're actually trying to float over to that 95. And well, I think another question we could have is PeachMarrow going to get the A rank?
You know, I think it's definitely doable. Like, you know, you have your couple of 50s, your couple of misses, you know, on those. But it is kind of hard to anticipate. Though we are getting into the final quarter where we will get some of that density riling up even a bit more. But I think it's still possible. There's always a way. It's either 100% or 0%. No in between.
That is true. And well, for PeachMarrow, definitely an easier time getting to an A rank than Hello Sun getting to the S rank, just because obviously PeachMarrow only has to get a 90%. And so I think PeachMarrow is probably gonna hit the mark. I don't see Hello Sun, especially with some of these patterns coming up. I don't think he's gonna have well enough act to scoot over a 95. So with PeachMarrow actually getting kind of close, can he secure the moral victory?
Oh, there we
He
go.
does. So
Hell yeah.
PeachMarrow getting the goal that we set for him, whereas Hello Sun doesn't. I would call that a PeachMarrow win, me personally.
Hell yeah. And actually, as a matter of fact, they both had the same perfect count. 2802.
Yeah. If you don't look at any other metric from that score line, it seems like they were basically tied in skill level
Yeah,
on that map.
absolutely. They're both perfect.
Oh, hold on. Let's see here. PeachMarrow trying to nope out of the roll. I think Tech 4 was the pick, but with a 6th, now it would be Tech 3.
Those look like that. Okay, to be fair, I would see why he won't go for Tech 4 because Dead Air.
No
Oh,
way.
Dead Air. Em- They gotta. Oh, wait. No, they're picking Tech 3, are they? Dead Air is an absolute onslaught of a map. Probably
Yeah,
our hardest map outside. Probably the hardest map outside the tiebreaker, I would argue.
probably. And I don't know if Epsilon's letting this go. I think he's forcing Dead Air to be played, as you can tell by the screams of the damned of PeachMarrow and Hello Sun. They really don't want to play a 6-minute tech map.
Like, like, if they're going for all like that scroll speed, like they're all going for the low scroll speed, especially in Tech 4. That's gonna be the most entertaining thing to watch. But please, Epsilon, just force them to go into Tech 4, I think.
All right, map's loading up, and Epsilon grants them mercy as we go into Minerva instead of Dead Air, which is a bit saddening. But what isn't saddening is them both playing on regular scroll speed, so we can I can actually kind of see what's going on in this map.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, it is pretty short, to be fair, only around like the high 2-minute mark. And the fact saying that, like all these maps are long. But starting off, PeachMarrow and Hello Sun are going to be trading, so both full combos, zing out the table, and this map is still going to be riling up. Of course, it's your tech. You have a lot of those scatters. Some of those free no patterns as well. PeachMarrow going to be finding another drop there. And of course, shields. He doesn't like shields.
Yeah, you can't really have Grand Finals LN tech map if you don't at least put in a little bit of shields. And it seems like PeachMarrow is struggling, especially when it comes to either shields or jacks in this map, going down under a 99. Same with Hello Sun. I think that they've held combo a little bit better though, as Hello Sun has about a 6,000 lead despite the accuracies being the same.
I think really it's just Hello Sun's consistency. As you were saying a bit earlier as well, that although PeachMarrow might have the better accuracy, Hello Sun, if they can hold on to their consistency a bit more, then I think it will definitely benefit them a lot.
Yeah, and especially in the sense of tech maps where you're kind of forcing not only a lot of different patterns, but they come quick and they are very difficult. It this this skill set of tech within the LN category definitely favors Hello Sun a little bit more. Um, Before this match, I was taking a look at the hybrids of MWC Grand Finals and how both these players did in their match versus South Korea. And what I found was that Hello Sun was doing a lot better than PeachMarrow in both accuracy and combo at Grand Finals level hybrids. And, you know, kind of in that sense, you can look at tech maps in LN and kind of see how there are a bit of parallels where, you know, there's a lot of different categories thrown at you. You have to make a lot of weirder transitions. You know, speeds and bursts are always a big factor in it, and it really is just setting up Hello Sun for success if tech maps are to be picked.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially coming off from what you're saying, in a tournament like this, you definitely want to have more tools in the shed. Because if you just have that versatility, then you will definitely thrive in a setting like this. And also I'm going to be clutching up with that 99 flat. And although PeachMarrow having the better, I mean, having the better 200 count, not looking at it, not looking at the exact number. Hello Sun definitely shows a bit more on that consistency side, having less of those more
You know,
superior
Niko,
skills.
I'll say it's 6-7, 6-7
Oh
grades
my
compared to
god!
78. PeachMarrow destroying Hello Sun in terms of accuracy. Besides the misses. So again, the game plan for PeachMarrow when they're not doing their shenanigans is try not to miss, right? And that's really how PeachMarrow gets points over Hello Sun. But well, oh wait, this is actually a pretty good roll. First map being rolled coordination 1. I think this is really good for PeachMarrow.
Yeah, I would probably say that as well. Like, absolute brutal accuracy map. See, the thing is, as well about this map, it goes beyond the accuracy. Like, it's accuracy, accuracy. That's what I would say. Only 10 coordination at 100 ppm. I think PeachMarrow definitely had. I think this role does benefit PeachMarrow that good bit. But of course, you know, you gotta keep that consistency up as well. Especially that's only 10. You cannot. You pretty much can't slip up in the slightest when it does come to misses.
Yeah, it just seems like one factor is that PeachMarrow and Allison are sight reading this pool, so they need to download it every time. And because of that, PeachMarrow currently stopgapped, and the real difficulty is downloading the map.
And there we go. Gotta love the old internet. I think that's just a wireless internet moment. Can't be me. I'm only messing it is me. But yeah, as you were saying, the real battle definitely the internet. But here we go. Actually getting a bit more into the map. You can even see by that UR bar.
Also, the fact that they're playing Hard Rock.
I was just gonna say that. I just witnessed Hard Rock at the corner of my eye and my jaw just dropped. Like the fact that they're running Hard Rock and they're holding on to 98. Like, just look at all these LNs, all these scatters, even some of those anchors as well on those releases. Like, how are you holding on to 97 on this? It's pretty much just playing with justice on Eterna.
Yeah, exactly. I hope someone can provide us with what OD it becomes when you put on OD10 HR. But what is very surprising to me is that Sun is actually doing a lot better compared to PeachMarrow, especially when you think of, who has been having the better accuracy overall in terms of MA and grades. I think for every map so far, even despite the scoreline being tied, it has been PeachMarrow. But on this map itself, on a skill set where you think that PeachMarrow has it in the bag, they're actually losing out on the accuracy battle.
Yeah, that kind of does surprise me a small bit, but I think that also ties in Hello Sun's versatility as well. PeachMarrow finding that trap as well, but on map that's OD10, like, it is very hard to keep your combo, so that will give Hello Sun a big advantage heading into the final third of the map, where again a lot more of those scatter releases are just jumping down. You have some of those mini density bursts as well, and some very tight walls that can be very hard to go in and out without picking up very minimal 200s.
Yeah, I think a lot of the um, difficulty in this map is kind of sporadic, and it turns from holding a long anchor and being active on 3 columns to having a lot of short, long notes on every column. These little bursts on weird snappings, and also just fighting through it a little bit more than PeachMarrow. 30,000 points of a difference is a lot as the map tries to end, and I don't think it's salvageable.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be. I don't think PeachMarrow is going to be catching themselves back up to Hello Sun anytime soon, especially that final miss. So, a 300, a Marvelous, is 11 milliseconds. So you have to hit the LN and you have to release it in an 11 millisecond window, which is absolutely insane, I would say. I think the fact that you could just hold on to this map, getting that much minimal misses, and just holding on to that accuracy alone is just genuinely impressive and cursed at the same time.
That is very true, and we already start to begin with the roll troubles as Helson rolls into a map that's already been picked. There's not too many numbers that will go through yet again. Map 4 has been picked. You need, what, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Those are the maps available, and Helson got 3, so maybe Coordination 3 will be played.
Looks like gonna be jumping into that timing hell. Gotta love it.
Yeah, and
Like,
seeing timing hell in coordination is always a very scary sight, right? Like we had Lemingming in Tech 1, and I think usually you'll see coordination sometimes pop up in wildcard as well. But obviously timing hell, coordination go hand in hand, and when it's like in the title itself, you know, that's crazy, right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like, this is 300 BPM as well. It's like, even hitting all those, you have to hit some of those 150 plus jacks as well in it, and again some of those stream bursts as well. Has a bit of has a bit of the density sprinkled in too. PeachMarrow are going to be taking the first miss, but of course in a map that's 4 minutes long, that's just going to be your late start.
That is true. It's only a little bit of a late start, but that doesn't mean you can't get good grades as PeachMarrow. Kind of showing a little bit more in accuracy than I thought he would on a map like this, but it is quite fast. It is quite physically demanding. So I think at this stage, in physicality, it's like half of the maps these players are kind of comfortable on getting over 99.7, whereas half of the maps, if they're not playing their best, they won't get over 99.7, right?
Yeah, I think getting a 99.7 on a pick like this is vastly challenging. But as we are heading through the first quarter and kind of getting into another one of the key ice sections, I've also actually found a few 200s, so actually it's going to be nearly equalized, I would say. Still getting through some of these bursts that I think both players are pretty okay in handling. It's just that tug of war trading back 200s. And of course, Hello Sun finding that early break as well. Going to be equalizing out the accuracy, and stuff are going to be pulling along.
Yeah, so I think that's 1-to-1 in terms of misses, and with both players at equilibrium in terms of accuracy, the next mistake will really give it over.
Alright, and kind of looking at this now, halfway point the map has still not yet in, and this map doesn't really have too much of those difficulty spikes. Of course you do have some of those density bursts and some of those drills as well, but it's mostly about consistency. Hellsong kind of finding that other drop as well, but see, here's the thing about this map. Since it is very high BPM packed, you can get back your combo very fast up to the 400 cap.
That is very true, as we see here. Even in the break section, Hellsung's able to get back up to cap really, really quickly. However, it seems like a clean miss is a turnover of about like 1,500 points. And so, with Hellsung on the back foot and only a fourth of the map left, he can still make it up in terms of accuracy, I believe, as in general, overall, they've been having a little bit better accuracy on this map, but PeachMarrow is actually going to give over a break to Hello Sun as he misses, and so now it's about 1,000 points of a lead. It's getting really, really close now.
Pretty much down to wire at this point. Only 1,000 points of a difference again, and any drop could just bring the lead back over to Peach. Like, heading through the outro of the map where you have that final density burst, I don't think Fatigue will catch on any of the players. Even a 200 could swing the lead back over towards either player, but as the map starts to close out, PeachMarrow finding a 200 near the ending burst. Will that be enough for Hello Sun to secure their lead? It is still kind of foggy, but as we do get to the final wall, the final jacks, PeachMarrow going to be finding those misses, and that is going to be the binding. Hello Sun going to be taking their 5th point.
That's a huge win for Hello Sun. The momentum has now totally shifted over to him, as it started off, was it 2-0 for PeachMarrow, and now it's spiraled into 5-3 for Hello Sun. And you know, it just seems like PeachMarrow has just been missing a little bit too much. Interestingly enough, they've had the better combo on that map and slightly worse accuracy, so the script was kind of flipped in there. But the real here's the real difficulty is rolling into a map that hasn't been picked yet.
Exactly. Hey, it's pretty much like Uma. Like, you have your strategy,
Yeah,
and then you have your luck.
that
Every
is
luck.
true. So just to remind the viewers, numbers that are good are 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. 8 hasn't been picked yet, so that would be Hello BPM 2023.
It's been 2 years.
It's stop. 2023 was like last week. I swear. I swear it was like last week.
1984.
Oh my
Literally
goodness.
1984. Okay. I think. Oh no, this is going to be our second wildcard. I remember that. Now, see, the thing is, I have PTSD from speedrun just seeing both scroll speeds played at free. Will they go
Yeah.
back to the low scroll speed? We will see. Come on, Arrow. Don't deceive us. Okay.
Okay, it's normal.
And of course, well, if you look at the title, it's 2023 BPM. And when we do get into the main key, I have this mini old build up of some of those stairs. And here we are kicking into things now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like really a lot of like weirder stairs and stuff that you'll see in this map. A lot of like stagger rolls in LMs, and PeachMarrow I think will have a little bit better time with that. They just need to not mess up, as you see here. Hello Sun taking a lot of late 200s, which leads to them getting a 99.4. PeachMarrow builds up a decent lead, about 2,000 points, but this is one of those shorter maps with less node count, so not out of the water just yet.
Yeah, especially just looking at this density, you have a lot of those stair bursts, and you just have a lot more of those density areas as well. PeachMarrow is still holding on to that lead very comfortably, but just looking at these patterns, you have to jump between, all the inverse stairs, well, the near inverse stairs, and a lot more of those density sections as well. Some of that mini coordination too, but I think both players are pretty safe when it does come to that. It's really just going to be who catches themselves out first.
That is true, and history has been pointing to PeachMarrow um, getting that first miss. A little bit more of the rolls and the stairs. A lot of that inside drill catching out PeachMarrow. Still holding on to lead by just a little bit though.
I think the accuracy is still giving them that breath of fresh air. But hello, Sun, finding that drop as well, going to be giving PeachMarrow that thriving opportunity. And as we get into the next KI, both players still holding on very well. PeachMarrow finding that drop again, but that accuracy difference is significant. I think PeachMarrow will have to take another drop again if Hello Sun wants to thrive off this. But with just barely any map left, even with Hello Sun's miss as well, I think PeachMarrow can capitalize off that. Heading into the final burst, nothing is really going to be changing, even a miss at this point. And it's going to be it. PeachMarrow going to be taking their 4th point, hoping to get the score equalized and maybe eventually in the lead for them.
And here is kind of what I'd expect from PeachMarrow in terms of the accuracy difference between these two. You know, you look at the MA and you look at the grades, and there have been quite a few maps that have been like this before, but not in the most recent two. And it was troubling to see PeachMarrow struggle a lot in terms of accuracy. However, they kind of found their form again on this one. So now, comeback totally possible. However, it is Hello Sun's role.
I also probably have to mention at that time as well that PeachMarrow got 15 200s on that map. No 100s and 50s as well. Really good showing of accuracy and control. But now we're back to the rolls. I do believe there's only 3 rolls left. Okay. So density 1 is up next. Dead air still in the corner, just eyeing both players down.
That is true. I don't think either player wants to play it though, as Peach actually did roll a 7, but then said no and kept rolling. So I suspect if either of them roll a 7, they will probably opt to keep rolling and gambling for another one. But density 1 is the pick now. This is the last density available. And it's funny to see the largest category exhausted. Yes, 2 of them were banned out at the start, but um, it's kind of weird seeing so many of the maps dimmed out on the lower half of the side.
Yeah, that's what I would probably have to say as well. And both players are just jumping straight into it. Density 1, gonna be your classic UE style. 4 minutes as well. So, gonna be pretty excited to see how this turns out for both players. With the UE style of density, you can expect pretty much an onslaught of that LN jump stream.
Yeah, all things considered, I think a lot of what UE puts out in terms of density is what a lot of people have in mind when they think of density, and especially when they try to translate density into, just being LN jump stream. And so I think when you have UE's density in a map pool, it kind of provides as an anchor to the surrounding density as kind of like the baseline, right? And I think that it really works here as density 1 as the pick. Sun did find a miss early on, and it was past combo cap, so maximum damage will be dealt. However, I mean, this is 4 minutes of 4 minutes of density, so we've got a lot of time on our hands. PeachMarrow is gonna have a pretty good lead, not only because of the Sun miss, but also just because they have good accuracy. Can they keep it up though?
I think this is pretty much just the equivalent of, playing a bit earlier, like playing a bit more in the earlier game, because you can definitely see that accuracy doesn't matter a lot, especially when the node density is riling up a lot. Even with that miss from PeachMarrow, actually now as I say, but that double miss from PeachMarrow. Anyways, as I was gonna say, it is very easy to get back up to the 400 combo count. PeachMarrow getting a bit more of that fatigue, so might be a bit more on the dangerous side for them. But as I was saying, it is very easy to get back up to the combo count, so even a clean miss is pretty much not the end of the world. And I think if PeachMarrow can climb their accuracy a bit back up, they could potentially equalize and try bring it back up to their side as well. But Sun's still holding on to that very strong full combo, that 99.5.
That is true. We are halfway into the map, and the script is a bit flipped script is a bit flipped as Sun has a better accuracy, has a better combo. Aside from that one miss 500 notes in, they've been pretty much immaculate, whereas PeachMarrow has found a lot of openings, unfortunately, in their gameplay. And so, a lot of work to be made up as, this density is kind of just relentless. They haven't gotten a lot of break sections or sections that you could even consider lighter than the others.
Absolutely. And I think that is also still UE style. Like, if you do know UE's, they like giving you a lot of those very minimal breaks. Even you can see there, that only lasted for around 5 seconds, and you're straight back into stuff. PeachMarrow going to be taking another drop, but at this point, I think they can still keep pulling on and maybe waiting for Sun to falter. They might be able to catch up, but I think the fatigue is starting to wear on them a small bit.
Yeah, I definitely I saw density and I was like, oh, this maybe might favor PeachMarrow because it's not too fast, and also it's not it's pretty, density is usually a very accuracy oriented skill set. However, the thing that a lot of people didn't see is the physicality needed on this map, and also just how long it goes. I don't know if you saw the chat before it started, but both of them were complaining about how it was 4 minutes long. That's almost like the average time of all the maps in grand finals. So it's just like, as the maps get harder and harder, they also get longer and longer, and unfortunately for PeachMarrow, that's gonna lead to them dropping yet another point to Sun, as they just cannot keep up that level of physicality for that long.
Yeah, absolutely. 10,000 combo, might I just add as well. Like, that's how long this map is. That's how brutal this map is. Like, you get very little breaks. Like, we've only seen one, like, near the middle. And especially with it being around, like, was that 5 minutes? My memory is not good.
It was about 4 minutes long, that map.
It is a 4-minute map, but just how much it throws at you definitely feels a lot longer. It's pretty much running a marathon at that point. So,
That
has
is
9
true.
Okay, 9 hasn't been picked. I know Dead Air is 7, so Wildcard 2 is going to be jumped into the equation. So this is going to be the second last roll. So, of course, if Sun does win this, they'll be the victor of this show match.
Oh boy. And let's see here. It does seem like yeah. Wildcard 2 would be 9. Um, the ones remaining are like a weird end of the spectrum where you have, 3-minute wildcard map, 3-minute tech map, and then 6-minute tech map. So all things considered, I think, and of course, Blossom of Ashes too. However, I think that Wildcard 2 is probably the one that they'd want to play the most. Just considering how much they've been talking about how much their arms and their fingers hurt and how they're getting old and senile. It's just like at some point they just kind of want the match to be over because they're hitting the physical cap.
It happens to almost every player at one point.
That's what I'm saying. Like couple of high 4-star maps for me and I'm done with the session. I'm good. For these guys, obviously a whole different beast, but they're getting tired too, and they're um they're resorting to kind of like stopgaps and kind of unconventional methods. I was talking to House on in between this map and the last one, or like right after this density map, Hoson messaged me that he started trilling with his arms because they got so tired. His hands got so tired. So like it definitely speaks volumes to how much is tested for the actual players in grand finals if they get to uh, a set that's longer than like 10 maps like these guys. They've got to be super exhausted. And it's not like a team tournament where you can, sub out people if you're feeling tired. Uh, it's a 1v1. So for the final players in grand finals, if any of these matches go the distance, physicality, uh, exhaust levels, all very, very important factors that you have to make sure you're looking at.
I definitely think that is probably one of the most important aspects of playing in the late game. You just have to have that energy to, you know, keep pushing forward. Because if you have that, then you can eventually catch your opponent on fatigue. It's pretty much like racing in a long marathon, i.e., the Armageddon.
That is true, and well, map is again on the shorter side of the grand finals. We're already fourth away into this 3-minute map, and PeachMarrow has found herself a little bit of lead. Hellsun yet again missing very early on for the combo path, but Peach actually finds 2 to trade back, so Hellsun is gonna dip in with a little bit of lead, but as PeachMarrow gets back up to the combo cap, Hellsun misses yet another trade coming through. Red team is gonna be the one on top.
Again, this is still pretty much like your tug of war. In Epic Man style, you have a lot more of those bursts, a lot more of those technical scatters as well. Like, there's a lot you have to be holding on to, and at this point, even just a 200 or 2, like, it can pretty much decide the outcome of the map. But I think its density does slightly start to subside a bit, does give both the players to catch their breath before heading into the final half, where the trail looks pretty much.
Yeah, I remember in Showcase they were kind of talking about how this this map is kind of like the quintessential Epic Man 2 map. It's really just like he has a certain style to him, and this is just that style at Grand Finals OMLN level. And I think that works really well. There's a lot of slippery patterns and stuff like that that you kind of think of when you think of Big Man 2. Slippery enough that Hello Sun is gonna miss on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it's just jumping in and out pretty much of all these. Like PeachMarrow finding a few misses, maybe that fatigue starting to catch up a bit, but as we head into the back half of the map, getting into the outro, will that fatigue start to catch up on PeachMarrow, or will Hello Sun start to falter? And he does, finding that double miss and a lot of those early misjudgments. If PeachMarrow could just keep holding on, they will still be in the fight, not hearing any bell. Here we are, the
Yeah, Hello
fun.
Sun A lot more misses coming through. They are guaranteeing that PeachMarrow wins that map. I think they just started either quadding or jump killing at the end there. But yeah, PeachMarrow are gonna end off with a very clean score. Gonna pick up yet another point. Only one more from guaranteeing tiebreaker. So half of the work is done. They just need to get lucky on this next roll.
Personally, I think it was Neptune's Hello Sun Curse and Miss that was mentioned
I
in the
yeah,
Twitch chat.
I think it was kind of that too. Yeah.
I reckon it was. Maybe Neptune wants to see a tiebreaker as well. So, with one last roll, will it be dead air? Or will it be dead air? It has to be dead air. Neptune, please curse him into
That's
being
true.
dead air.
Curse of Dead Air. And what's funny about this is they're playing legitimately now, but they've um been complaining about Dead Air being a pig being 6 minutes long. If PeachMarrow wins this, they have to play a 9.5 minute map anyways.
Yes, 7. Dead air. Dead air. Has to be dead air. Yep. Dead air. Epsilon, just pick dead air. Like, just force him to play dead air at this point.
I
Yeah.
think I think Epsilon should just really force them to play Dead Air, but no, it seems like Wildcard 3 will be the choice, I guess. And this is Hello Sun's Protect. Did it really matter because Hello Sun rolled for the Protect? No, not really, but it's Hello Sun's Protect.
Epsilon, you should have said no. You should have said no. Okay, so dead air, unfortunately, we'll be seeing that another day. So I guess tech free last roll before we do see the winner or we see the tiebreaker. So probably. Honestly, I think if even Hello Sun wins this, they'll probably both want to play tiebreaker.
That is probably true. Blossom of Ashes. I think this one would probably, as we've seen, um, favor PeachMarrow just by a little bit, not by a whole lot, considering the whole discourse about consistency versus inconsistency between these two, but just enough to where it feels like PeachMarrow has what it takes in order to tie things up and send things into a tiebreaker.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if there's a must, there's a will. Actually, no, there's I don't know.
There's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. There's a will, there's a way. Wildcard free. Again, I kind of see the similarities compared with Epic Man 2's map as well. Again, this is kind of more res than the pure density, I would say. So, like, kind of more of your abrasive jumping in and then kind of just unexpectedly getting out, like a prep pitch.
Yeah, that is true. That's one way of putting it. And well, both players kind of getting pinched in terms of accuracy as PeachMarrow finding a little bit more. Both players at a full combo. It's just it really feels like that picture of the rabbit holding up the stopwatch. Time is ticking, right? And it's only a matter of time before one of these players miss, because I don't expect a double FC. I don't think we've seen a double FC in these maps so far. Obviously, for a lot of these maps, both players have been doing funny things such as low scroll speed and stuff like that, putting on hard rock, but there's not a lot of players that can really FC this on command. And to remind everyone, they're also, I'm pretty sure, sight reading these, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, especially when you're at like MWC point. You can pretty much play anything that 20 throws at you. Peach does find a drop, but the accuracy is still very similar, so not out the game yet. Hello Sun probably going to be keeping on to that unless he does want to play tiebreaker. Then he might just, get cursed by Neptune again. But as you get to the break before the final third, we have to see how well these players do.
yeah, the accuracies are tied. PeachMarrow is back up to combo cap. The score lead is only 2,000 points. PeachMarrow is gonna drop yet again though, so that progress that he's been having has been essentially wiped out, and finds himself in a bigger ditch. Thing is, fourth of a map left. Can anything happen? Yes, I mean, Halusan has missed. PeachMarrow does trade it back, but it shows that both of these players are human. They do bleed, and PeachMarrow can still make a comeback.
Anything is still possible. Density still rising on. All those trills jumping in. PeachMarrow finding that drop again. Also, does have that big advantage. But the question is, will he get unexpectedly cursed again, or will he still hold on, finding that drop again? I think that was more of a. I think those are more genuine drops, but the score is starting to equalize a bit more. PeachMarrow does have the max combo cap, but both players still finding misses. Again,
This guy,
and there he is.
this
Oh,
guy.
oh my
No,
god.
no. This guy forgot to put on no fail. Oh my gosh. And so Hello Sun is going to fail out of the map, crashing out Bancho as Ishmael is going to secure the point.
Hell yeah. Love to see a nice cheeky tiebreaker, I guess. That was a very detrimental choke. I think that was the biggest choke in all of OC history. And now we're going to be playing blank.
Oh, and it again, it's so funny. These guys did not want to play or they didn't want to play Dead Air because it was 5.5, almost 6 minutes long. But now they're forced into a situation where they play the tiebreaker. So all I hope is that they have a gimmick for this to kind of, you know, kind of put aside the fact that they have to play this really long, really hard map. If they just like have fun with it, just put on flashlight, scroll speed 6 or something at this point, right?
They're definitely gonna be running no scroll speed or just flashlight. I already know that for a fact. But now, I guess now it's time for the tiebreaker.
It certainly is time for the tiebreaker. Let's say in a world where they don't do shenanigans, they don't put on a funny scroll speed, they don't put on any funny modifications to the map, they just play it straight up, and they actually try their hardest on the map. Who do you think would have the edge?
Honestly, I think this can go either way. Like, we have seen both players kind of catching with that fatigue a small bit. Of course, we have seen PeachMarrow have the accuracy advantage, but Hello Sun having the density. Hello Sun kind of more having that density advantage, so can go either way. Because, like, even then, as I was saying earlier, maps with big density areas, like, even if you find a drop, it's very easy to get your combo back up. Well, of course, if you do not chain this, or if you're kind of struggling with a part of the map, which I think both players are pretty capable of getting, well, I would say respectively lower miscounts.
Yeah, and you know, you speak of chain misses. That is one of the things that we haven't really seen in a real capacity. Obviously, we've seen chain misses in the form of hosts on throwing the map, but a lot of the times when these players miss, it's very scattered throughout. It's very isolated, and they're usually pretty clean overall. I think a chain miss on a map like this is kind of pending, right? It's the grand finals tiebreaker. There are a lot of patterns where you can very easily misread it just due to the sheer density and physicality needed to it, and you can definitely pick up some chain misses. So if any of that happens, obviously to a lesser degree, it'll matter due to the time that this map goes on and also the amount of notes. But it certainly will provide a decent enough swing, as you can see here. Both players very much so struggling on this section.
Yeah, a few misses being dropped here and there by both players, especially in some of the density bursts. But no really chain misses yet, but when you do get near the ending, especially at, I do believe, Imperial's ending part, which is absolutely brutal. I do believe it was above the star rating to 8.88.
I think so as well. And well, PeachMarrow, slightest bit of lead. It's about 3,000 points. Uh, combo hasn't really been a big factor in this, just because both of them have been missing a whole lot. It's really just how many times have they missed, right? And how many 200s have they each taken up to this point? And currently, PeachMarrow is being Hello Sun out on both fronts.
Yeah, and like I think they're definitely able more to hold on, but I think maybe Fatigue could capture 2-1 for both the players when you get to the end, when they do get near the end of the map. PeachMarrow are actually finding a lot more misses, which is going to be equalizing the score out a small bit. It's starting to shrink more and more, that score difference. Again, you still have all those density areas and some of those shields as well. Like, it's pretty much your final test of everything.
That is true, and man, I mean, we've been talking a lot. We're only barely a fourth of the way into the map, and it's funny seeing how close both of these players are. PeachMarrow with only about 400 points to his name. This matchup might have been a lot more even than I thought. I think as time goes on, however, maybe Peach will struggle a bit more in terms of physicality, but that remains to be seen. I mean, he's been killing the game, and every time they've both been able to have. Oh, okay, never mind. He's no longer killing the game.
Alright, the density is still rising up, and even a lot of those shields that both players have been missing on as well. Even some of the mini quad stream areas as well in this area of the map. And I think the fact that they're able to kind of get through it without taking much accuracy drops. Well, it might be big accuracy drop to them, but I think both players are still holding on very well and kind of heading into the halfway point now. Accuracy and lead does go towards PeachMarrow, but just by a sliver.
Yeah, it's a little bit more chunkier than the last time we saw it. It's about 1,500 points at the moment, but I mean, accuracy is still pretty even. Hello Sun is going to miss again, so a little bit more of a lead is going to be afforded to PeachMarrow. It's going to climb up to above 2,000 points as we get into this little break section. And really, the main question is, how long can PeachMarrow keep this up? As we've seen in a couple of the more physical maps in this pool, PeachMarrow has kind of struggled towards that last fourth, and especially with a map like this, you've already been playing for what, 4.5 minutes? So, I mean, both players are definitely exhausted at this point, and this little break has to be a lifesaver. But once we really get into the mix, once things start to speed up yet again, and you get into the quicker patterns and the key eyes, who's gonna hold up, really?
Exactly. And the fact that the map still hasn't reached its climax yet, like it's still getting a lot more of those jack patterns that I think they're definitely catching both players out. And again, pretty self-explanatory. Like you have a lot of these walls as well that, you know, I think everything is just being thrown out to you in this map in every aspect. And that's where I think the versatility definitely comes in. Like you need to have all those skill sets to just manage and hold on. And especially it's gonna matter a lot when we do get into the final third, especially even at the outro too.
And well, PeachMarrow finding himself a couple of misses. Hello Sun was holding on to combo for a good amount of it, but thankfully for Hello Sun, that miss was traded out. PeachMarrow actually gonna give another one over to Hello Sun, and that 2,000 lead that we saw from PeachMarrow about a minute and a half ago has swapped over to a 2,000 point lead for Hello Sun. So it's a bit scary now, you know. I was talking about how later in the match maybe PeachMarrow might falter a little bit more, and with yet another miss, the lead grows and grows to 3,500. It seems like as this map goes on, unfortunately, the curse of physicality is hitting PeachMarrow more than Hello Sun.
Actually, as a matter of fact, what I kind of have started to notice, Hello Sun is starting to hit a bit later. You can kind of see on the unstable rate as well, but I think it still happens to both players. But here we go into the final quarter. Have a lot more of those uniquely snap streams, but it's definitely taking that bigger toll on PeachMarrow, taking that accuracy drop from 98.7 as they're actually holding a lead against Hello Sun for the majority of this map. Now down to a significant difference between both players, and the streams still keep hitting down on both these players. It's really just going to be maintaining the accuracy, as combo to keep on in this section is not easy in the slightest.
Yeah, and I know one way to fix the problem for PeachMarrow. Hello, son. If you can hear this, I need you to drop 10,000 points for PeachMarrow to tie it up. And if my prayer is answered, Hello, son will stop playing at this very second, right about now.
Hello Sun, curse and
Didn't
missing. Hello Sun, curse and missing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. MSG, touch wood. Bang. Oh, okay.
It's not working. I don't think he's listening.
Alright. Now, heading into the final 8 of the map. Hello Sun, okay. Now they missed, but they still have that significant score difference. But it's starting to shrink down ever so slightly. PeachMarrow is just holding on to their consistency in this density area, but we still have the ending in Imperial's part, which is going to be pretty funny to see how it turns out. Fatigue starting to wear a bit on Hello Sun, but PeachMarrow as well heading into the final area of the map. Will the score go towards PeachMarrow? Only time will tell as we do get into the wall.
Oh boy, map is ending off, and that lead for Hello Sun hasn't budged since about 3/4 of the way in. Unfortunately, this map was a little bit too hard and a little bit too fast for PeachMarrow to keep up for the entirety of the 9 minutes. Whereas for Hello Sun, they had the physicality to stick with it through and throughout. And so for that, as this map tries to close out, barring any throw by Hello Sun, which can still totally happen by the way, it seems like Hello Sun is going to be the victor of this map.
It's going to let go of his keyboard for 2. Actually, to be fair, I don't think there's enough notes to even fail at this point. Okay. And there we go. Got the ending of this map. And it looks like Hello Sun's going to be taking this after a long hour-and-a-half battle. Wait, no way. And also, as I mentioned it, the final score is 6-7.
That is insane. Wow. What a match this was. And to think this was only a show match. Again, this was kind of a treat that you never get to see, you know, two players that are in the core of the USA three-peat MWC team finally duking it out. And yes, we had some gags, we had a couple laughs in between, but we really got to see the full extent of their power in that final map. And Haosun is going to take it from PeachMarrow 7-6. As man, that was a long show match, Nightcore. That was a an hour and a half. It ran just long enough so that our next show match is going to be in 30 minutes. That is going to be Silly Fangirl versus Zubin 4. So that should be quite an interesting one.
One thing I will say is, could you imagine if this was a bracket reset?
Yeah, no, I like if Nep has to, if Nep's opponent for winners grand finals has like forces a bracket reset off of him, that's gonna be a long match, man. It's gonna be long.
Nep, take notes. Get the bracket reset.
Ooh, I don't know about that, but what I do know is next match is gonna be in less than 30 minutes. So if you guys have time, definitely check that out. That would be the last match in the Saturday block. Of course, we still have a lot of matches for Sunday, including losers grands decide who faces Neptune, and also, well, a couple of show matches in between all of those. So make sure you guys check the matches that you can. Check them out because we have a ton of show matches for grand finals. But other than that, Nightcore, I'll let you close it out.
Um, Insert closing out thing here. I'm the Angry Pumpkin. Even though it's one day after Halloween.
And there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Goodbye.
Man, I hope this thing is muted. Those guys were bums.